A long time ago, in the land of Egypt, there was a baby named Moses. His birth came at a time of great struggle for his people, the Israelites, who were enslaved by the Egyptians. The Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, grew fearful of the Israelites' growing numbers and power, so he decreed a cruel law.
Every Israelite baby boy must be taken away and thrown into the Nile River.
But Moses' mother, Jochebed, loved her son deeply and would not let him meet such a fate. In a moment of great courage, she carefully placed him in a small basket, weaving it tightly, and set it afloat on the river, hoping for a miracle. She watched from the shore as the basket drifted through the reeds, trusting in God to protect her child. As fate would have it, the Pharaoh's daughter came to the river to bathe. When she spotted the tiny basket, she opened it and found the crying infant inside. Moved by compassion, she decided to adopt the child as her own. Thus, Moses grew up in the grand palace of Egypt, surrounded by luxury, but deep down, he knew he was not like the others. He was an Israelite, and he could not forget the suffering of his people. As Moses grew older, he witnessed the terrible treatment the Pharaoh's soldiers inflicted upon the Israelites. They were forced to work tirelessly, enduring beatings and cruelty. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian guard strike an Israelite slave. In a burst of anger, Moses killed the guard and buried him in the sand. Realizing his actions could cost him dearly, Moses fled Egypt, seeking refuge in a distant land. For many years, Moses lived as a shepherd in the wilderness, far from the grandeur of the palace. But one day, something extraordinary happened. As Moses walked along the mountain, he saw a bush that was burning fiercely, yet it was not consumed by the flames. Curious, he approached the bush, and to his amazement, a voice called out from the flames. It was God speaking to Moses from the fire. "I've heard the cries of my people, the Israelites," God said, "and I am sending you to free them from their bondage. Go back to Egypt and tell the Pharaoh to let my people go." At first, Moses hesitated. He was afraid and unsure of how he could help. But God promised to be with him and gave Moses the power to perform signs and miracles to show Pharaoh the truth. Moses returned to Egypt and confronted the Pharaoh, demanding that he release the Israelites. But Pharaoh's heart was hard, and he refused. In response, God sent 10 powerful plagues to the land. Frogs swarmed the houses, locusts devoured the crops, and darkness covered the land. Finally, after the last and most terrible plague, when the firstborn sons of Egypt were taken, Pharaoh relented and allowed the Israelites to go free. But even then, the journey to freedom was not easy. As Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, Pharaoh changed his mind and sent his army after them. The Israelites found themselves trapped at the edge of the Red Sea, with no way forward and no way back. But Moses trusted in God. He raised his staff, and in an incredible act of divine power, the waters of the Red Sea parted, creating a dry path for the Israelites to walk through. The sea stood like towering walls of water on either side, and the Israelites crossed safely. When Pharaoh's army tried to follow, the waters closed in, drowning the soldiers and ensuring the Israelites' freedom. Moses led the Israelites on a long journey through the desert to a sacred mountain called Sinai. There, on that holy mountain, God gave Moses the 10 Commandments, 10 essential laws that would guide the Israelites on how to live in peace with one another and honor God. Moses' journey was filled with challenges and miracles. From being a helpless baby in a basket to becoming the great leader who freed his people, Moses' life was a testament to the power of faith and the strength found in doing what is right, even in the face of fear. Through Moses, the Israelites learned that with courage, faith, and trust in God, they could overcome any obstacle. The greatest lesson of Moses' life was this: true leadership comes not from power, but from the willingness to serve others with justice and compassion. Moses showed them how to live not only as a free people, but as a community united by kindness, respect, and love for one another.